it is really like incredible for me to be here today because exactly 6 years ago, I was at SaaStock. It was the early days of Aircall, and I could never present something like how to build a $100 million business because by the time we were not even at $1 million revenue. And so it's a kind of, I get goosebumps by just asking myself how we made it. And today I want to transmit you a little bit and show you how we did that. Because if we did it, it means anyone can do it. Because we didn't have necessarily any experience in the SaaS business. We didn't have any experience in the telco business. And I'm going to tell you a little bit what Aircall does. But the point was, we had no experience. We just created our own playbook. And I think that playbook is adaptable to any company or any SaaS that exists today. So, before Aircall, we had nothing. We had no offices. We had 0 client. We had 0 employee. Okay, we had one connection, which is my dear friend Snoop Dogg, that I met back in the days in TechCrunch. He probably doesn't remember me, but I remember that picture, and it stays somewhere into my mind. And if you hear me, Snoop Dogg, come say hi. Anyway, today, what is Aircall? Aircall is a business phone system for businesses. And today, yeah, we are doing above $100 million. We passed $100 million revenue exactly a year and a half ago. We have 17,000 customers all over the world, 700 employees, and really like helping a lot of businesses worldwide. The crazy thing is that, yes, exactly a year and a half ago, we reached what Bessemer called the centaur status, is when you reach this $100 million revenue. It's good for the ego, but it doesn't help you organize your business or know how to go to the next stage. And so how we built this $100 million revenue, how we did it, what are the tips, what is the machine you need to have, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. First, how long it took us. Again, this is a Bessemer graph that shows the top companies, how they did the $1 million to $100 million revenue. In our case, it took us about 6 years from 1 million to 100 million. So we are good in their benchmark, and I'm pretty proud of that. But it doesn't have to be a go. The point is, you take the time you need, but what is important is that you take care of your customers and your product. And I will explain you a little bit why later. So I call this first part the 1 to 10 million ARR, the crazy times, the crazy product. Why? Because the product at that time is probably not the best. The only thing that you can do the best is your sales team and the people that you have around you. And of course, your idea. Your idea counts a lot, but doesn't count so much. Your idea, to me, counts about 1% of the success of your business. The rest is going to be something else. It's going to be about selling that product. I see so many founders, and I'm also an angel investor. I have over 30 different lines of businesses that I invested in. And so I see a lot of founders that rely too much on their idea or on their product. A successful business is about the product, but it's also about being able to sell it. And selling the product, you need to define what's the need. What do your customer want? What do they need? It might sound stupid, but there is not a single day where I'm not speaking to salespeople that come to me that try to sell me a product I don't need. And they can try to sell it and push me to the limit. I'm not going to buy it because I don't need it. So it's really important to define what your customer needs before you try to sell them something. Otherwise, your entire sales process will be broken. You're going to feed them with wrong leads. You're going to make them just do stupid sales, go after people without even thinking, what is the need of my potential customer? And if you don't nail that from the beginning on, you're going to be bad at the execution as well. So define the need and then nail the execution. And of course, execution is 90% of the job. And in terms of execution, what makes us successful, I have to say, if I look back, it's our employees. Our first employees, what we wanted in them, and that's my biggest advice to you, is make sure your first employees are that have a founder mindset. We treated them as founders. They worked as founders. The same hours as founders. They were sweating up with us. In the beginning, we know it's really hard. You're alone late at night. You have doubts about your product. You have customers complaining about everything. And so it's good to rely on these first-time employees that are here with you and will work with you day and night to make that successful. And during all those years, we had to adapt. Our logo changed a lot of times. Our branding changed. We needed to find the right path for us. But one thing never changed, and it's the most important. It's what we are fixing for our customers. What is the need of our customer? What's the value we bring them? The value we brought to our customer, in our opinion, was a super scalable phone system that helps you make and receive calls all over the world and integrate all your telecommunication into your CRM. Simple value prop. If a company needs it, they buy it. But so you can adapt your logos, your branding, whatever. If you don't define clearly your need and what your company is selling and what's the value of it, you're going to be in trouble. And the other thing, and I'm a big fan of this one, and since the beginning at Aircall, it's really something I thought we need to personalize. We need to every single person we speak, we need to adapt to him. What is his company? What are they doing? Who are they? What is their pain? And this is extremely important, and you will see why later in the journey, is that if you don't know your customer, you're just selling a product without thinking. You have a pure sales approach, which is bad. In my opinion, a good sales approach is a consultative approach. You're acting like a consultant. I'm here to fix your problem. I'm not here to sell you a product. And that's a very different thing. And the second one is self-assessment. It's very important that people self-assess themselves. You assess them, but they have to self-assess them. And I was doing it on my own, in front of my teammates. I was taking my calls very easily and listen back to my calls in front of them and asking them, what do you think? Where was I bad? Believe me, we all hate to hear our voice. We all hate to hear the way we speak on the phone or through a Zoom. It's really hard. But when you realize your mistake, it's at that moment that you unlock something into yourself. You unlock this little thing where you know the things you need to fix. And by the time, we are back in 2016, 2017, we had no AI tools. We had just the recording of our calls. And this recording was enough. So today, believe me, seriously, you have no excuse to not doing it. You have tons of AI tools. And I'm not going to tell all of you all those tools. I'm sure you know them. And all those tools help you even find the right things you're looking in a call. Find the mistakes you might have said. Find the words you want to correct. And this help you in front of the team. And for each teammate you have, self-assess them together with the team in front of everyone. Believe me, the first time it's tough. Then the second time it's funny. And the third time it's just you're looking for how you're going to improve yourself. And so if we summarize a little bit, the important thing is set the vibes, set the process, okay, where are we going? We are entrepreneurs mindset. All right. This is how we're going to work. We identify the gap of our product. We are clear on where we are good, what we fix, and how we fix it, and what's the value prop. And of course, you personalize and self-assess yourself. Then the second stage, the 10 to 50 million. This is the most amazing moment for a company, and I hope some of you are in that phase. The biggest mistake we did, and a lot of companies I see them doing still, is that you think about just one thing: selling, 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 selling. Selling is good, but remember what I just said before. If you sell without a purpose, you're just going the wrong way. You need to understand who you're selling to. So you're selling at someone, not to someone. So when you talk to the person, he needs to feel like you're bringing something to him. What you're selling is exactly what he asks or what he needs. And unfortunately, a lot of sales today, they're not looking for the issue they want to fix. They're looking just to sell their product. And the methodology is pretty simple. It's basic. You understand the problem, okay? you understand the company, what is the company need exactly, and then you try inside the company to work a little bit like a snake. I don't like the image of a snake, but you have to be cross-functional. In our case, it's very simple. We sell to two different personas. We sell to sales teams that do outbound calls. We sell to customer support departments. So when we were talking with the sales team, somehow we always wanted to talk to the customer service department and vice versa. Why? To make sure that we know their problems and we make them work together to make sure that Aircall will win the deal. And that's when you're able to get that, you get a great experience. And you get the best experience, and so that's where your win rates are amazing. Your customer, your salespeople, they know their market, and it makes incredible things. The most amazing stuff I've seen is that some of my salespeople knew sometimes the industry better than some of the people inside the industry. I remember we used to sell a lot to companies that do solar systems because they do a lot of outbound and so on. And I remember some of my sales were extremely knowledgeable about how those companies function. And believe me, they were winning deals one after each other, extremely simply because of that. And we had one metric that mattered all that time, MRR, our revenue. And one thing that we made very different compared to a lot of companies that we were extremely transparent. I can only give you that advice. It's a simple advice. Those metrics that you see here, net retention, NPS, churn, make them in front of your employees every day. They have to know those metrics. Don't hide them. I see too many founders that no one knows the revenue inside the company. No one knows what they work after. They just work, they need to sell. Having those metrics in front of you every day makes you realize the gap you might have, makes you realize what you need to work on, and makes you go beyond just your work and just work harder. And at that point, of course, it's time to scale. The company is big. You're getting to the right path. You're getting toward 30, 40, 50 million. And one thing we always did is that we preferred to hire smart people and creative people for sales, not necessarily pure salespeople. Because there is one thing that I always say is, smart people will take you from point A to point B, while creative people will take you from point A anywhere in the world. And if you are able to have this match of these two combinations of people into one salesperson, that makes a great match for the people that you're going to sell to and in general for your business. So, if I summarize, consultant versus salespeople. I'm not saying you have to hire a consultant. I'm saying the approach of the sales need to be consultative. You're consulting, you're helping to fix a problem. You're not just selling. You build transparency in your company. Be transparent. Don't be afraid of the metrics that are wrong. If the metrics are not good, fine. Use your team to actually improve those metrics. And most important, retain your early stage employees. Those guys are the backbone of your company. They will help you to define your value, to even empower those values and embody them. It's really important. And it doesn't mean they will grow necessarily with the company, but if they are able to, it's the best thing that can happen to you. And then the stage where things get hard. At that point, you probably took 5 to 6 years to reach 50 million ARR. And you're going to now add this 50 million ARR in about 2 years, 1 to 2 years, depending on how tough it is. So this is where big changes are happening. And you're going to get a lot of press, a lot of stuff that, gives a good ego boost, but doesn't help the company. The ego boost is good for inside the company. It's important to embody it. But what is important is that you make sure at that point you sit down on your mission and your value. You notice that we used some little hills to write the M of a mission. Those hills are really important. They're steps towards where you want to head. Hill 1, Hill 2, Hill 3, and your value. For instance, what is one hill? For us, one hill was SMBs. We always said SMBs represent 90% of the companies. Okay? So this market is huge. So we said our year one, we need to be the top #1 phone system in the world for SMBs. That's a big hill, as you can imagine. But that helps you shape also where the product is going to go, how it's going to go, and how the sales should act when they're facing other type of companies. A lot of sales in general, we want to go up market because it's easier to go up market. You sell big deals somehow. But if it's not the time for the product, it means it's not the time for the sales and for the company in general. And so what does it mean? You define your years, you define your mission, you define your goals. You think efficiently. At that point, you need, if you raise capital, you need to start thinking, okay, how I'm going to become profitable? How I'm going to make sure that when I reach the 100 million mark, I'm going to have a positive EBITDA, or at least I'm not going to burn so much money. And what's next? Define your year 2, year 3, etc. And if you're able to reach that during all that time and define all this, normally, nothing can stop you at that point. And so, I might sound like an old dude with all what I said, while I'm just 36-year-old. And I hope I'm going to be able, in the next couple of years, to make this same moment on stage and give you the same tips I just gave you that are probably not the unique tips or the unique strategy to get to $100 million. But I hope I'm going to be able to give you the same from $100 million to $1 billion revenue with Aircall. Thank you so much for your time.